Good afternoon, everyone. This is an update on the tropics for September 4th, 2022. We have Tropical Storm Danielle that is still just north here of the Lesser Antilles, right near the Virgin Islands, that is northeast of Puerto Rico. We also do have Hurricane Danielle up there all the way up north in the Atlantic. And we have a new disturbance highlighted by the National Hurricane Center that does have a chance of development within the next 5 days. So let's get right into it here. Here is the satellite imagery for the northern Atlantic basin. Here is Tropical Storm Danielle, as you can see, just off the coast of Puerto Rico, just off the coast of the Virgin Islands here, impacting a little bit of the Virgin Islands with some of those gusty winds and thunderstorm activity. You have an eye now, a little bit of an eye here with Hurricane Danielle. Definitely it has been strengthening here with a lot of those winds overnight, and is once again another hurricane. As it did weaken back into a tropical storm yesterday, it is now back into that hurricane strength. We do have a disturbance, a tropical wave here coming off of Africa, and that has a 20% chance of development over the next 5 days in this sort of direction, and it does have that low chance because it does have a lot of dry air, a very unfavorable area here that does have a lot of this dry air and wind shear. It will be headed towards that direction, so it does have that low chance of development. Here's the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook. Here is Tropical Storm Earl, as you can see right down there, right near Puerto Rico right now. This does have maximum sustained winds of only around 50 miles per hour, a minimum central pressure of 999 millibars, and this is definitely a low pressure. This is definitely strengthening over time than we last saw it, actually becoming a tropical storm. We do have Hurricane Danielle up there, and that is a hurricane with 80 mile per hour winds here, with also a pressure of 983 millibars. That is only moving at about 1 knot, and Tropical Storm Earl is currently moving at about 3 knots or 3 miles per hour. So they are both moving very slow here, and it's going to take a while here for them to move towards their destination. Now here is this storm that most people are concerned about, and as you can see right now, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands is actually not being impacted by any tropical storm force winds. You may see some gusty winds, but they're actually not tropical storm force winds here. And as you can see, it will stay as a tropical storm for a bit until about 8 p.m. Monday. It is expected to now become a hurricane, as it is starting to head northwards now, probably missing Bermuda to the east, a lot to the east here. As you can see, it stays as a hurricane here for a long time until around 8 a.m. Thursday. We could be expecting our first major hurricane of the season. That M means major hurricane. These H's mean hurricane, which is below a major hurricane. So again, we could see our first major hurricane of the season, which is a category 3 or higher, which is definitely a little bit crazy. I might be expecting a tropical storm watch that may be in effect for Bermuda once we get to around midweek or so. Otherwise, I don't really see any concern for Bermuda at all, mainly for wave heights here at the end of this week. But that's pretty much all. Pretty much wave heights will be the main concern for Bermuda. Otherwise, winds should be fine, as again that will be headed a lot more eastward for anything concerning. Let's look at wind shear values, and as you can see, here is Tropical Storm Earl right there. Let's go change color real quick here. Here's Tropical Storm Earl, and here is Hurricane Danielle. Hurricane Danielle definitely could strengthen even more, as it doesn't have much wind shear at all with this wind shear tendency map. And as you can see, we have a lot of wind shear ahead of this Tropical Storm Earl, so it's going to have a hard time developing even more, strengthening a bit more. But there is some light wind shear here. And this wind shear is actually going to be moving to the east. So this wind shear could definitely leave a little bit of a pocket here for it to just lightly move through and even form to that major hurricane later on here into late this week. Let's go and look at the GFS model here for the tropical disturbance coming off of Africa. We do have, I think, a little bit of the tropical wave that is actually still in the Atlantic, and this will not develop into anything for sure, as I continue to see that low pressure system in the models. But as you can see, there's that tropical wave coming off of Africa. This actually strengthens a little bit. As you can see, it does weaken here as we head around Saturday, and that's when Earl here could become a major hurricane, is around Friday. As you see, it gets down to around 950 millibars. This could be quite a photogenic hurricane later on this week that we could be tracking here just east of Bermuda there. Again, mainly high waves are going to be a concern for Bermuda. Otherwise, you guys won't be mainly impacted. You won't get a landfall or anything from a major hurricane, but it will just kind of tease you a little bit just off to the east there. Now, as you head forward here throughout September 12th, we do get a high pressure moving in that does fling this a lot more northeast, but this means that we do get the high pressure. Any tropical waves that could be forming here could be going a lot more south here if we do continue to see the high pressure go far that south. Otherwise, for around middle September, we've seen hints for a tropical wave coming off of Africa with these high pressures being the south, which would bring those tropical waves over here into the Caribbean. But right now, the GFS is still holding on and telling us that there won't be any tropical waves after these main hurricanes. But again, it is GFS, so it's going to change a lot. And we probably will see repetitive tropical waves as we go through the peak of hurricane season. Here's the European model. As you can see, even has Danielle is forming into quite a strong hurricane there. It does have, I don't think actually the Euro has Earl actually forming into a major hurricane. It has a really close to making there, but the Euro just doesn't have it making it there, which I do agree with it a little bit. If this wind shear was further north and wasn't moving to the east or anything, but it is going to have just a little bit of wind shear to go through to make it to a major hurricane status. It does pretty much have the same path as GFS, but that has a very interesting move there. It has a high pressure over here around the northeast United States, and this actually flings it right into Bermuda on Monday, which on Monday of next week actually. So that probably won't happen, and this is the 00Z run from the European model. That is really interesting coming from the Euro model. There is another tropical wave coming off here around middle September. We've continued to see that trend here from the European model over the last few videos here. There's that tropical disturbance, which doesn't really form into much and just kind of stays as a little low pressure tropical wave there. That's what the opinion on the European model. Now that's again a very interesting, and we've still got things to change here as this goes throughout its path. So Bermuda, don't let your guard down or anything, because things are going to change, and Bermuda still could definitely see this hurricane, as it is still a little far out before it does make it a close approach to Bermuda here. So let's go to look at the ZMC model and see what's opinion on this. And as you can see, it does do another weird track. It does hit Bermuda there, according to the CMC model here that does show it hitting Bermuda around September 10th. It makes another weird move here because of a high pressure system. Otherwise, makes it close approaches Nova Scotia, but should be weakening by then there. Now, we do see actually a tropical system in the Gulf of Mexico around this time as well, around September 13th. Possibly a tropical system here spawning in the western portion of the Gulf of Mexico. We might have to watch as well. Just something interesting that just was pointed out by the CMC model here. Again, lots of tropical waves still coming off the coast of Africa, according to the CMC model. I mean, 3 in a row I'm seeing tropical waves here as we head throughout the peak of hurricane season. But that was your latest update here. Not a ton of updates other than the soon-to-be Hurricane Earl that could be coming close to Bermuda. And Bermuda, again, don't let your guard down. Things are going to change, and you may even see impacts here from Earl. It just really depends on the track. But be sure to subscribe to this channel if you are new, and turn on post notifications so you won't miss a single upload or live stream on any updates on the tropics every single day. Also, share this video with any friends or family that may want the latest tropical updates. Like this video, it'll help out a lot. But as always, I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.